From your local news leader, this is 13 News.
The pictures tell the story. Hampton Roads is socked by the first major winter storm to hit in years.
It makes for a very snowy Saturday. Now the digging out begins for just about everyone in the area. It is Saturday night, and the big story on 13 News, continuing coverage of the winter storm.
The good news is that things appear to be winding down. Here's a live look outside with our Norfolk Skycam. Over the past few hours, we have seen the wintry conditions diminish, but we're not quite out of the woods yet.
The snow started early this morning while most of us were asleep and accumulated quickly on our yards, streets, and highways through the course of the day. It made for some very tricky driving conditions, something we're far from used to here in Hampton Roads. We'll get things started with our 13 News Weather Authority Chief Meteorologist Jeff Lawson and our team of meteorologists right on the money with the storm.
They were. Jeff, where do things stand right now with this winter weather?
Well, the main part of the storm has obviously left the region. We have a little bit of some light activity still. A little bit over the eastern shores now basically gone that we were tracking about a half an hour ago. A little bit still over the northern neck back through the metro Richmond area. All of that is moving to the northeast. Now a little bit later, we're slightly concerned that we're going to get a little bit, and I emphasize the word little, bit of accumulation from the stuff that you see out in the mountains. That is trying to rotate a little more to the east, but instead it's trying to also dry out. So that's, again, the good news. If you don't want any more snow on top of what we already have, that would be a big problem. So let's talk about the overnight hours and what you can expect. Basically, just a few leftover flurries overnight. At the most, we're going to see an inch of additional accumulation, and most of us aren't even going to see that. There should be little, if any, additional accumulation. Low temperatures down around 20. That's the big news. The slush that we have out there is going to refreeze, and that is causing a very significant problem already, and it's only going to get worse. Of course, the blowing snow makes it difficult as well. That's the latest from the Weather Lab.
All right, thanks, Jeff.
Our team coverage of the winter storm begins now with a look at road conditions.
Today, the snow piled up on the interstates faster than VDOT could clear them. Despite the efforts of snowplow drivers, conditions are still extremely dangerous. Since late last night, police have responded to 1,200 crashes and more than 900 disabled vehicles.
13 News reporters Velma Scaife and Patrick Terpstra are keeping an eye on the roads, both peninsula and south side.
Now, Patrick, VDOT tells you at this point it's simply trying to make the highways passable.
That's correct. That's the word they use, passable. They know that they cannot clear the highways at this point until the snow is completely out of here. But what they are basically trying to do is make sure that the highways are drivable. This is actually Virginia Beach Boulevard, and you can see behind me here, you're not going to see any patches of black here. This is all just a very tightly packed layer of snow, and certainly if you were to brake really hard, you might fishtail, you might spin out. So slow going is certainly the good rule of thumb out here. Also on those highways, you'll see a lot of that slush because of that icy anti-ice mixture that they put down before. They say that that's going to create a slush, but all bets are off on what's going to happen once it really gets cold and all of that slush starts to freeze. We saw firsthand why everyone keeps saying stay off the roads. I-264 coated in snow. This HRT bus sailed right off a ramp, and this SUV did that stomach-dropping fishtail.
The roads are not clear at all. So for people that got to travel, you know, just use this.
Trucks in Norfolk keep plowing, but can't keep up.
I mean, there's no way you can keep the street clear. So you just try to keep that, keep it down low enough where cars can get by. And then once it stops tonight, then we will start in earnest trying to clear them off as best we can.
This is what you're actually seeing spread all over the road. It's actually a salt and sand mixture. The sand gives traction, and the salt is designed, of course, to actually start to melt the snow and ice. The real trouble could be in the days to come if all this slush freezes into an icy glaze, and neighborhood streets will have to wait for some sunshine.
The bad part about it is that the neighborhoods are going to have 6, 8, 10 inches, however deep it gets, for until it melts.
This would all be normal, maybe even routine, if we lived a little farther north.
They ain't had this much snow in a while.
You've been slipping and sliding?
All day.
And not a whole lot of snow out here in Virginia Beach, just about 2 to 3 inches where we are on Virginia Beach Boulevard. People out here hoping that this is it. Live in Virginia Beach, Patrick Terps for 13 News.
Thanks, Patrick. Our team coverage of the winter storm takes us to Hampton. 13 News Peninsula Bureau Chief Velma Scaife joins us now live.
And Velma, you've met a number of drivers who have been out on those roads today.
Well, that's right, and some of them are wishing they'd stayed in until tomorrow because today offered way too much excitement in the worst way. Put yourself in Rusty Shiflett's shoes. He's just a few blocks from home and can't get there. He rushed out in the cold to run a quick errand, but his Blazer protested in the middle of Jefferson Avenue near Oyster Point in Newport News.
Literally a couple minutes away and it did this. In this weather that we don't never get around here anyway.
The battery in his SUV picked the absolute worst time to call it quits. Shiflett thought it had a lot more life in it, but he thought wrong.
And she kind of corroded too, so maybe Advanced Auto Parts needs to get me another battery.
VDOT and police all say if you don't have to be out in this weather, it's a good idea to stay off the roads. The interstate and main highways have been treated and snow plows are out, but they can only do so much. DJ Wright planned to stay off the road today, but he ventured out to help a stranded friend in Yorktown and got stuck himself on Interstate 64 in Hampton.
I didn't know where he's at, so I was trying to use my GPS and I missed the exit. So it was a little low on this side, so I just tried to jump over, but I guess I made it too late.
It took a friend, a good Samaritan, and a lot of digging to get him unstuck and on his way. This was a you help me, I'll help you day. Wright found himself helping our photographer Beth Brown out of an unexpected snowdrift.
Thank you. Yeah.
And Beth is okay. Of course, we all know how important it is to make sure that our vehicles are in good working order, especially in the winter time. Some of the main things to check: make sure your brakes are in good working order, make sure your battery is strong, the lights work, and that you have plenty of windshield wiper fluid. Live on the Peninsula, Velma Scaife, 13 News.
Okay, thanks, Velma. A reminder, you can always check road conditions by dialing VDOT's hotline at 511, and traffic cameras are always available on WVEC.com as well as our mobile phone site.
Okay, the beauty of snow on Saturday, you don't have to worry about the kids in school and school buses. But with as much snow as we've received, a lot of folks are wondering if we'll even have school on Monday. That decision still has yet to be made. While crews are busy clearing the main roads, conditions are being monitored at emergency operations centers, including the one in Virginia Beach. Deputy City Manager David Hansen told us the problem is going to be the residential streets that will not get plowed.
We have a responsibility to clear their accesses, their parking lots, and all that. Our difficulty and their challenge will be how do they get the school buses into the neighborhoods that we're not going to be able to clear those roads. So that's a tough decision.
Of course, stay with 13 News for the latest on any school or other closings that you may need to know about.
This blast from Old Man Winter is also causing problems at both local airports. Norfolk International and North Newport News Williamsburg are reporting several delays and cancellations. The airports are open, but the airlines are making the ultimate decisions on canceling flights. If you're flying in the next 24 hours, make sure you call ahead and check on your flight.
Next on our team.